Hello, family, friends, fans. It is C-Man. It's been a little while since I posted, in case you haven't noticed. So, residency, huh? What's that all about? As you all know, if you don't know, I am an ear, nose, and throat resident. And so your first year of residency consists of general surgery, kind of general stuff. So like, doing neurosurgery, plastics, general surgery, trauma sometimes, as well as ear, nose, and throat months, as well as ICU and ER and things like that. So I actually have a not bad intern year at all. It's pretty nice, pretty chill, somewhat, depending on the rotation. But in case you're all wondering what that symbol was at the first part of the video, it is the symbol for my residency. It's an ear, nose, and throat. Yes, that's the drawing of the throat, the ear, and the nose, and I guess the trachea. I don't know. Pretty interesting. I guess our chairman hand drew it. Anyway, so what's it like? My first month I was on plastic surgery. Plastic surgery is, depending on who you have and what you're doing, is going to be very different. The plastic surgery I had was with a kind of a hand plastics guy. So he did a lot of hands. Did a lot of hand jobs. Anyway, so I didn't get to see much in the way of like stuff that would be useful to me necessarily, like facial plastics, but at the same time I learned a lot of surgical techniques. It's vastly different depending on the surgeon you're with. He is the type of surgeon that allows you to just do whatever. He'd kind of say, hey Chris, I just want you to repair this, do this, and sew it up, and walk out of the room and let me do my thing. It was great. It was really good. And, of course he was inspecting it intermittently and making sure I did an okay job, and he criticized my knot tying.
Tie two-handed. Yes, sir. Now tie one-handed. Yes, sir. Now tie with the left hand. Oh, shoot. Yes, sir. That is the worst tying I've ever seen. Oh, yes, sir.
Like every surgeon will. I mean, I'm telling you, you could learn the perfect knot and, suturing technique. You can learn the perfect way to do it. And if you go to another surgeon, he'd be like, what the heck are you doing? That's horrible. Please do it this way. And, you just kind of learn. That's how it is. So you have to develop your own technique. So right now I'm on ICU. What's ICU stand for? Internal crap unit. No, it really stands for intensive care unit. But it's okay. It's medicine, internal medicine related, so obviously not my cup of tea. But and the hours are kind of crappy. So because of the new hour regulations, you have a lot of limitations that can actually make your hours worse than they should be. For instance, we can't, as interns, stay for more than 16 hours, and you can't take at-home call for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. And you have to log all of your hours onto a website called New Innovations, and you have to log all your procedures onto a website called acgme.org, which is like, I don't know, General Medical Education something. I don't know what the AC stands for. Anyway, it's just kind of an annoying thing. And because of that, I have to take on ICU. You take a week of long call, which is 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., a week of nights, which is 10 p.m. to 12 a.m. the next day, or 12 p.m. the next day, I'm sorry. And then a week of short call, which is 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. What else? So, anyway, I have some other stuff coming up. Hours can be pretty sticky, depending on what you're with.
Your schedule is Monday through forever. 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. every day.
But not like terrible hours. Anyway, it just depends on your residency and what rotation you're on. Obviously, when I'm on the ENT months, their hours are going to be crazy. Just because you're kind of doing all these, they call it scut work, but whatever. Anyway, you'll be doing stuff, okay? And, anyway, other than that, though, Your surgery stuff can branch just depending on what kind of place you're at. I am at a program that has a general surgeon. They don't have a general surgery program, so that means that I am paired directly with a private surgeon attending. Okay, whether that means I'm on plastics or general surgery or neurosurgery, it doesn't matter. I'm paired with a private attending. What does that mean? That means that I am able to basically get either first assist or even primary on a lot of the stuff, which is great for me. And I would suggest, if that's important to you, getting very early hands-on experience, that you may want to look for a program that does something similar. Because you don't have senior residents that are taking away cases because they need to take away cases because they need to do the cases before they graduate. Anyway, sometimes you have no clue what you're doing, and that's kind of a fun part of residency. Is you have to learn the preferences for of the different surgeons. So you learn that every case that they do gets this, this, and this, and if it's this type, then it gets this, and these antibiotics, and this pain medication, and this is the kind of knots they like to throw, and this is the kind of technique that they want to use, and you need to do this, and it's just very like preferential. And of course, by the end of the month, you're just getting the hang of it, and they kick you onto a new rotation. So awesome, right? So what are some important things about residency? Just learning to not only be very adaptable with your hours and your techniques, but also to learn medications and primary care stuff. Even as a surgeon, if somebody calls you and is like, "Hey, this patient is hyper, or hypotensive, and they have a tachycardia, and they're a little tachypnic. What do I do?" You need to ask the right questions. Are you thinking that they need fluids because they're hypovolemic? So do you need to give a bolus of 500 cc's or even a liter of normal saline just to see what happens? What did they have done? What procedure? Could it be pain? Are they just in a lot of pain? Do you need to up the morphine? Do they have heart issues, kidney issues? All these types of questions have to cross your mind. And as you can tell at the beginning of the video, also with the crazy odd emblem, there was the sound of beeping, which you will get very familiar with in residency. People will ask me often, "What's your call like in residency?" Well, it depends on your rotation. And as I said before, with ICU, I'm not taking at-home calls, so therefore, by default, I am in the hospital taking calls. So different programs have different requirements for that. Even on ENT, I won't be taking at-home call, which means that they will make me stay a full 16 hours, Saturday through Sunday, 16 hours, to take in-house calls so I can get experience. Is that their fault? No, not really. Is it the fault of the hour requirements? Yeah, basically. So, some other things you have to be aware of in residency is not step 3. You have to take step 3 for some programs in the first year. Some programs by the end of residency. It just depends. So you need to ask when you're on your interviews. Try to figure out where your program stands on that. Is it easier to get out of the way early? Absolutely. Why? Because you're doing a lot of the stuff you were doing for step 2. So if you're a freaking ophthalmology or ENT resident like myself, or some specific part of another type of medicine, you're gonna forget like all the other stuff. Okay, so they'll be asking you pediatric questions, OBGYN questions, family medicine questions on step 3. So if you're 5 years out from that, trying to remember that, it's gonna suck. But fresh off of step 2, the first year, you probably need to read first aid for step 3 a couple of times. I don't know, I haven't taken the test, but I've been told it's much easier early. So, okay. And it's 2 days. Don't forget that. It's 2 days back to back. Yeah, looking forward to that one. Vacation-wise, usually it's around 20 to, a little over 20 days, depending on your program. But I think it's an average of about 3 weeks. I don't think that they can go under that. I could be wrong, though. Paycheck, pay-wise, what do you get? Usually around $45,000-ish, around there, before taxes. And different programs will offer you different benefits. You probably get a choice from all the health plans, all this fun stuff. And then even 401ks. Ours offer 401ks. So, all this is just like an opportunity waiting to happen, right? Some other things with residency to keep in mind are the chain of command. As an intern, don't act like gung-ho Brian, I don't know who Brian
Chris?
is or who, if he's going to go.
Chris.
But anyway, don't act
Chris,
like
the patient's not asleep. Chris, the patient isn't asleep at all.
So if you don't think you know something, or you want to be sure that your plan of care is going to be accurate, call someone or talk with someone. Don't make a cocky move. I made a cocky move the other day. It wasn't a big move, but it was debatable whether I should have been right or not. A patient had gotten like 2 liters of boluses and was still hypotensive, and I gave pressors. I gave a neosynephrine, and those are usually titrated to a mean arterial pressure. I chose over 60, and but the patient didn't have anything but a peripheral IV. You probably want an arterial line in or a central line to administer a pressor, something that's a little closer monitored and able to give you a more accurate reading. Why do I say that? Because we got a mean arterial or an arterial line. I put the arterial line in the patient like 2 days later, and the difference between the cuff pressure and the arterial mean arterial pressure was like 50 millimeters mercury. That's so that's quite a big difference. So my point is that, you know, you just want to be sure your resident may be like 99% of the time be like, oh yeah, totally do it. But in that case, they might have said, well, we should just wait for a line. Okay. That was a bit of a cocky move by me. So anyway, just avoid those. Don't be an idiot. You know, I apologized, and they said it wasn't a big deal, but I still apologized because owning up to your mistakes is a big thing that you can do, and not only for life, in my opinion, but also in residency. If your residents are able to say, hey, this guy's taking responsibility for what he does right, but also what he's doing wrong, then it's going to be way better for you. Even if your attendings sometimes can act like crazy people, you know, you're right, or they're right if they do, they're right if they don't, but you're always wrong. That's what it feels like, you know. Whatever. So anyway, just keep that in mind with residency. Anything else? I'm sure you guys might have a lot of questions, and I'll try my best to answer them. Just leave them in the comments section, and I'll do my best. I tried to go back to a little bit more of a humorous video, but also with a lot of information. Woo! I don't know what that was. But anyway, just leave questions. There's a lot to the first year of residency, but it's very different. It's very program related. So you should ask about it when you're on interviews. Please ask about it. Ask about things that are important to you. You know, is the type of lifestyle outside residency important to you? Hours, call, pay, benefits, location. You know, where are you going to be? Are you going to be all over the map throughout the state? Or are you going to be at one basically central location, and that's where you take all of your stuff? You know, that's important to some people. Family life, you know, there are a lot of residents that are married with kids, and are you married with kids? And that's important. So you want someone to have sympathy, or it doesn't matter to you. You know, are there a lot of girls and guys in the program? Is it a good mix? Sometimes that's important to people. Anyway, so just keep all this in mind, and I hope that you all have enjoyed my new video, and I hope to see you all soon. Alright, peace.